Welcome everybody to Truth Unbound. I'm your host, Walter Swaim, and I'm here with my friend and director of the Community Pregnancy Center here in Pasadena, Texas, Bobbie Zamminer. So we have been planning on this for a while, finally getting it done. And I'm here actually at the Community Pregnancy Center. And our church, the church I pastor, we're involved in the ministry here at times and helping with items that are needed. And we're just excited about having the opportunity on the podcast. And I will leave a link in the description to a couple of podcasts that we've done previously on the issue of abortion itself. So this podcast is not really about discussing points for or against abortion itself, but about the issues that arise more functionally as a result, especially of the Supreme Court decision. And previous to that, what was famously called the Texas Heartbeat Law. So anyway, well, welcome, Bobbie.
Thank you. I'm very excited to finally be here.
Yes.
Well, we're here. But
yes. So do you speak Spanish too? Because
No,
we could do
I-
this in Spanish.
No.
One language is enough is,
Yeah,
is enough.
exactly.
One language at a
I
time.
had enough trouble with the English.
Understood.
Yes.
Agreed. So anyway, so let me start off. First of all, let's get right to it. First of all, tell us about the story of Community Pregnancy Center itself. How was it?
Mm-hmm.
Where did it come from? How did it arrive here in our community and what it does? And then how you came to be director here as well. Let us know.
Community Pregnancy Center has been in the community. We've been here for 39 years this fall.
I didn't realize it was
Yes.
that long.
We were one of the very first pregnancy centers in Southeast Houston.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
people came a long way for a free pregnancy test.
That would have to make it one of the first in Texas?
Yes.
Oh, my word. I
It
didn't
was.
realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, established by a church group, small group from a church got together, and they were concerned. At 39 years, we were already seeing some destruction into hearts and lives of women who were having abortions.
Right.
And so they were seeing that, and they wanted something else for women.
Mm-hmm.
And so they created Community Pregnancy Center, which would be a safe place to come in, talk through your issues. 39 years ago, have a free pregnancy test because
Wow.
you could only get them from the drugstore, and they cost $25. But you could have a free pregnancy test, and then you could talk through those things that were those struggles right then. Why were you considering abortion, and why could you make another choice?
Wow.
So that was the beginning of Community Pregnancy Center.
Okay.
And at that point, even still back then, that everyone would get the opportunity to know Jesus.
Right.
That was hugely important.
Right. The gospel.
And it has always been.
Yeah.
It has always been front and center for us.
Exactly. And that's why we're plugged in with you too, and tell you real quick the story of how we became connected. We had been burdened to be involved in any way we could as a small church and a church that was kind of rebirthing itself here in the Pasadena area. We are, by the way, Pasadena is in the southeast side of Houston here in the state of Texas. And so I've been praying about it, and then found out that this was here, and was wanting to get a hold of Bobbie, and then only for her one day to walk up to the door of the church, if you remember that.
Yes,
and my
that's
wife and I
right.
were just
That's
happened to be
right.
there. We're not there in the afternoon in a weekday. You were knocking on the door to leave some materials just to see in case somebody was there. And here we walk around the corner, and we're like, this can't be really happening. Once she told us who she was, so we were thrilled to connect and be a part of it. So. Okay, and so how did you? Were you here from the inception of it?
No.
Okay, I
I've
didn't
only
think
been
so.
here for 12 years.
Okay.
Now I have
Only 12.
been only 12. Yeah. I have only been doing crisis. Well, we're not called crisis pregnancy centers anymore because it's not a crisis. It's an unintended pregnancy.
Right.
And we're going to work our way through it.
Right.
But 16 years ago, it was still a crisis.
Yeah,
and
of course.
and that's when I started in the pregnancy center world. And we got to Texas and God's plan, rather than me go get a job where I could make a really lot of money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. What?
was to come and work at Community Pregnancy Center.
Yeah.
So I've been here for 12 years, and we're seeing about we're doing about 800 pregnancy tests every year. And that's been holding steady for a while now.
Okay.
And we have added, of course, free ultrasounds to the
Right.
things that we do right now.
Right.
And our goal is every single one of our clients will hear the gospel message before they leave the
Wow.
center.
Wow. Okay. In fact, that leads me to the next question, which is, what would be a young lady walks in, and I would assume the majority of them are very young. You know. Have you ever had any though that are married and
Yes.
a little more older and walk in and go,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I can't let this happen in my
Yes, exactly.
life? Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In fact, when we chose to stay open during COVID, I think it was the very first client we saw, like during quarantine.
Right.
They were in a panic, came in for their pregnancy test. They were actually, at that point, they weren't in a panic. They were married. They had been planning this baby. They were very excited to be pregnant.
Okay.
And had their pregnancy test, got their confirmation, and we sent them home to come back for their ultrasound like the next week. They were going to come back and do their ultrasound.
Right.
Sorry, I had to think and make sure I had that story right.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
telling
fine.
the right story.
Yeah.
But when she got back the next week, her demeanor had completely changed. Her husband was not with her. And when she went in for the ultrasound, she said to the nurse, I think we've decided I have to have an abortion. And of course, they were thrilled last week. And so, the question is why? And they were so afraid of COVID, and there was so much misinformation out there that they had gone from thrilled to frightened. And we can't have this baby right now. It's not a good time. Which, of course, that's not the exact same issue we see, but we do see that quite a bit, where on a dime, situations and circumstances can change.
Their whole demeanor will change
Yeah.
over what?
And
wow.
Yes.
Okay, so then interesting, very interesting. Because I always wondered, if you had a situation from a married situation.
Yes,
Let's say the
absolutely.
typical young lady walks in, nervous about the whole situation, decides to come here. Walk us through the process of working, serving, ministering to her in this way.
Everything we do is free and confidential.
Right.
So that, that's the first thing, and that's kind of written and posted everywhere.
Right.
But so there is some paperwork she fills out, and that goes, and that's just demographic information to find out who she is.
Right.
She meets with a client advocate. Now, our client advocates they're all volunteers. Almost everyone at the center is volunteering.
Right. They've gone through your training.
And they have, and we have a really, really good client advocate training. In fact, years ago, I had a lady who went through the training, and she said, I learned more in this class than I learned getting 4 years of a social services degree.
Oh, wow.
Wow. What we do, we take very, very seriously. And we want each girl who walks into the center to feel cared for, to feel heard, to feel loved, and to just
But also know getting correct and they're informed well. Who's talking
yes.
to them knows
exactly.
what they're talking about.
Thank you.
Right.
So she meets with her client advocate then, and we schedule those appointments an hour apart. And a lot of times it'll take about 45 minutes to do the pregnancy test.
Okay.
Kind of walk through what's going on in your world, what happens. We are always going to invite that girl back by herself, and we leave mom sitting out in the waiting room when we first started, or her boyfriend or her husband. She always comes in by herself so that she has an opportunity to share her story. No one's listening, no one's judging, and no one is chiming in to say, well, that's
Leading
not
them,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Right, like what happens
Exactly.
otherwise, yeah.
And so we have had to have some discussions with moms because why are you taking my daughter and why can't I go back there with her? And so we explained we've just got some things we need to go through before, and we're going to come get her before anything important happens.
Right.
So we go through that.
Right.
And we do the pregnancy test. 12 years ago when I got here, most of the work we did was called proof of pregnancy. It was done for Medicaid, and we work in conjunction with the Medicaid office, getting them the information, actually getting the girls the information they need to turn into Medicaid to get Medicaid dollars.
Right.
That was most of what we did 12 years ago. And we have switched that. Our advertising is now, it's a little more edgy, and it's focused more on those young girls that are making decisions and don't know where to turn. Nobody's ever heard of Community Pregnancy Center. We are the best kept secret in Pasadena,
Exactly.
is what
And that's
we tell
part of
everyone.
why we really want this to get out and use this medium to do so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we're doing some advertising that targets that particular market. So we are now, about 30% of our clients are considering abortion.
How many?
30%.
Okay.
So
Wow.
one third of our clients are in one form or fashion, they are considering abortion.
Already.
And so we walk through that with them.
Excuse me. So the other 70%, they're coming in. I don't want to have an abortion. I just don't know what to do. Is that
Yes.
it? What's that? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And they still have a lot of questions.
Right.
And they don't know where to go. And they don't.
Okay.
And we insist, we the staff and the board of directors, we insist that everything we do is medically accurate and accurate. We don't lie in that office, and
Right.
the client hears the truth, and so she learns all the things that she needs to know to make the best informed decision when she walks out of our building.
Okay. So she says, all right, I've decided I do want to keep the baby. I was leaning toward abortion, but what do I do? What do you do next with them? I know there's a
Do you want to talk
process.
about her first, or do you want to talk about the girl who says, I don't know.
Oh,
I
please
don't
start there
know.
then. Yeah.
And
Then the other lady.
yeah. And then we'll go back to the
but
happy
that one,
side.
I'm glad you brought that up.
That girl with the heartbeat bill, which I'll just throw out there really, really fast.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about it. Yeah, please
September
go for it.
1st, the state of Texas said that once a heartbeat could be detected, and then in parentheses, the average of 6 weeks, abortions can no longer be performed. So September 1st, our clients were, and the number jumped from 30%, our clients were in a panic. I have to find out if I have a heartbeat. I have to find out if I'm pregnant. You have to tell me right now, because we got to get this done before there's a heartbeat.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And panic. And so we had to adjust. Usually we do our ultrasounds at 8 weeks, Walter. And that is so you see that little gummy bear floating around, those cute little babies, and they have a face, and they have some arms, and they have some legs, and they're just wonderful.
Yeah.
And you can hear the heartbeat. It's clear and it's loud, and it's different from mom's, and so it's easy to tell it apart. And you see that baby at 8 weeks, and it's hard to not believe you're pregnant with a life, and it's really hard to not start to fall in love with that little nugget.
Right.
So,
and it is the size of a nugget.
Yeah.
That little guy or girl.
So, September 1, we're doing ultrasounds as soon and as early as we can, and they're not seeing beautiful, fun babies. But
Gotcha.
step 2, then we go to at the end of June, the Supreme Court reversed. They made their decision on Dobbs and said Roe v. Wade out the window. It does not give any of us the constitutional right
Didn't say
to
couldn't
have an
have
abortion.
right?
Exactly.
Just it's not a constitutional
Exactly.
right.
But it's not a
Which
right.
is misinformation.
Yes.
That's used a lot out there.
And so at that point, Texas, the state of Texas, went immediately, no abortions will be allowed in the state of Texas.
Right.
And so we stopped doing abortions that day. And so now any girl that's going to have an abortion has to leave the state. And so she has some time. And most other states that she's going to go to, their choice is, they're doing abortions, in the long term. They're not doing heartbeat pills and things like that. So we're saying you've got 12, 13, 14 weeks to make a decision. And sometimes you got to buy plane tickets, because Louisiana is not a choice.
Oh, really?
Louisiana
Okay.
is not doing abortions.
Right.
I did not know that they had that bill ready to kick in, but they do, and they're not doing them. And Oklahoma has stopped doing abortions.
Right.
And so we think the closest place you can go is New Mexico. So that's a pretty good trip. So, you need to do some planning. So we see her at about 6 weeks. We do that pregnancy test. We talk through all the issues, all the things that are going on in your life that are making you uncomfortable with being pregnant. And then we send you home. And we bring you back at 8 weeks. And there is some conversations that go around that, the schedule, and the schedule is booked. We have a very tight schedule, but the schedule is booked, and we really want to give you some time to process all of this. And so would you consider coming back? Well, and they can't go anywhere easy. So yes, they'll consider coming back. So they come back at 8 weeks. They see that little gummy bear baby, and they hear that heartbeat, and they can see that the decision they are making is not as easy as they thought it was. Right. And so in our center, 92% of the girls who see their baby on the ultrasound will choose life.
Oh, wow. Say that again?
92%.
92%. Okay.
Of the girls. I think the average is 88% that see their baby and hear the heartbeat. But we've got some amazing client advocates and some amazing nurses in the center.
Wow.
And we're at 92%.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, and here's the point, and the only more controversial thing, it's not really, but is that when you hear the information, and this has become very popular in recent years, especially the last 2 to 5 years, and what I'm seeing out there is that, well, you are pro-birth, you're pro-life, but you're not pro-birth?
Pro-birth.
But not...
You're not pro-mom.
Not pro-mom, right. In other words, you just want the baby born, and that's all you care about, and the rest is up to them. This is one reason I want to do this podcast, so you could see on the inside of this that that's not true. Plus, there's, 2,700 plus pregnancy centers across the U.S.
Yes.
Which is almost triple or more of any
abortion
clinics.
Yes,
exactly.
absolutely.
So that statistic alone, nullifies that argument. But to see again on the inside here that it's the pregnancy center, and then individuals and churches and organizations that back that, and this has been around, as you've heard, for some almost 40 years now. So that's big misinformation, better known as a lie. So, so you can see that there's a process, there's a ministry. We will walk through this with you, and it's being done across the country. And this is one of the best right here.
So she decides she's going to carry her. That girl who's not unhappy. She just needed her proof of pregnancy. She needed to talk through what was going on. Mm-hmm. That girl then learns about our Point to Success classes.
Right. Yes. I remember you telling me about that before.
Those are parenting life skills. We've got some prenatal classes. We have worked on how do you write your resume? How do you go on a job interview? Mm-hmm. But most importantly, how do you be the best mom you can be? Mm-hmm. And we invite her to bring the most important person with her. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes that's the dad. Sometimes that's mom. Sometimes it's just a sister.
Okay.
But they can bring a friend with them. So then people are involved in that learning process.
Right.
We're using an amazing program. And right now, one of the classes that we're doing is shame-free parenting without shame. And it's a six-week class. And it talks about we parent the way we were taught to parent. And we were we parent like we were parented. Mm-hmm. And that a lot of us, in fact, when we started this lesson, one of their homeworks was to answer questions. And one of the questions was, how were you raised? And when I looked through those, one of those girls had written on her answer to that was that she was belittled, she was told she was stupid, she was worthless, she couldn't do anything right. And I was just almost in tears because she's carrying so much baggage with her. Mm-hmm. And not all of our clients are carrying that baggage. But some of them are just so broken. And that's what I love about Point to Success the best, is they're here and they're learning and they're hearing. They've got some role models. They've got Christian women who are volunteering here and praying with them and praying for them and helping them out. Right. And they are learning that they do have value. Mm-hmm. And that they are not worthless, and they can be a good mom. Yeah. Because you know what? It's not just about having a baby. It's about having that baby, creating a family, and being a strong and healthy family. And that's really kind of the most important thing that we do here at the center. Is we want to be building families. Right. Jesus, very important, always at the forefront. Right. That ultrasound, very, very important. Right. But if we can't help her and give her the tools to make a family, what is she going to do? Yeah.
Wow. Well, let me ask you this. Do you find, has there been, because I seem to remember you saying this a while back, that there's young men.
Yes.
Who also come in.
Yes.
Not because they're pregnant, but they are with who they've had this pregnancy with. Mm-hmm. So it's what? Tell me about that. Tell us about that.
And
why is that? Why do they come in and?
Well, and they come in because their girlfriend says, I think I'm pregnant, and now what are you going to do? What is your role? Okay. What is your responsibility? And so they ride along. And I would say, he comes along because they're in love and they're going to have a relationship forever. And I'm smiling, and I don't mean to be laughing.
No, I know what you mean.
But so often, you can tell when they come through that door, it just gets cold because they've had a fight in the car or they're arguing. And, so it's not always the perfect relationship.
Right.
And, and there's a lot of, there's hormones going on and there's fear.
Yeah.
How are we going to tell my mom? What do you mean you told your mom? I haven't told my mom yet. Holy cow. And so there's a lot going into that dynamic. That's why that little girl comes in the room all by herself.
Right.
So she can say that and she can dump all of that. And then we will go get him, and he can come in for the pregnancy test and then walking through. And then we, as a couple, we will walk through with them what the information that they know, the information they need to make the best decision they can. But sometimes those young men are sitting out in that waiting room while she's in here getting with her client advocate, and you can just see. I one time was sitting in my office and I felt like God said, you need to go to work. And of course I said I was at work and I was busy. And he said, no, this is not your job. And so I didn't hear him say that.
But that's, the inference,
And so I got up and I walked out, and there in the waiting room was a young man all by himself. No one else was there. And I sat down and I said, it's pretty scary, isn't it? And he said, yeah, it is. And a tear rolled down his cheek. And he said, she's in there telling them she wants an abortion. And that's not what I want her to do.
Oh, okay. So you often get the picture that it's always the other way.
Yeah. And it is not always the other way. And some of these young men are really struggling. They're really struggling with. And my counsel to them, my counsel to anyone who's listening here, is tell her how you feel. Men are so good about saying, I'll support you in anything that you say because I love you. That's not what she wants to hear. She wants your opinion. Please tell her how you feel. And I know sometimes that's going to backfire on me because he wants, but they still need to have an open dialogue.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of those guys out there, really, abortion is not their first choice.
Right.
They just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because they do have college in their plans, and their parents aren't going to be thrilled. And they need exactly the same options, assistance that these girls need. And they need to know they're loved and cared for.
Wow.
Now, one of the things that goes with that is men's ministry.
Right.
And it's a huge need. It has always been a need and a prayer for me that we've got to take care of these young men. We've got to help them. But I know it's hard. First of all, a lot of our men are out working. A lot of our Christian men who support the ministry, they're out there working. So they can't be here from 10 to 2.
Right.
And, some of them are available and they can be here, but, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
It's a little, and we all know that men don't share their feelings quite the same way as girls do.
Right.
And so it's a little bit harder.
Right.
But there is still a need.
Yes.
And now, and the other half, really the other half that goes with that is post-COVID. Oh my gosh, COVID is so screwed up.
Everything, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But post-COVID, the guys are not coming with their girlfriends. She's coming by herself.
Why would that be? And before and after the COVID period?
I think we got so used to don't bring anyone with you that nobody brings anyone with them.
Here it's encouraged.
Yeah. And here, it is
especially
encouraged.
Now. Yeah.
And
My goodness.
so,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, I hope that
That's what
gives
I
you a picture here that, again, there's so much more. It's not just coming in, getting an ultrasound, they try to convince you to keep your baby. It's a process, and they walk you through it, and with you, even the man that's involved here. And so this is amazing. It's been more educational even to me, and I've been familiar with this for years, but to hear you tell it in more detail like that has been even more enlightening and more appreciative of what you all do. Now, you're about to have another element added.
Yes.
You
We're
see how she lightens up there?
I forgot.
No,
For a
no, I'm
moment,
on
I
it.
actually
I see it
forgot.
right here.
Yeah.
And, that you're about to have a new tool. Tell us about that.
We are expanding, and what we call it is going mobile.
Okay.
And what that means is we will have a second office wherever we need it,
Okay.
is the short version.
Okay.
We're very excited because the bus is on the assembly line right now, and it will we're hoping
September.
mid-September.
Okay.
Yes. And for those of you who are churchgoers that are watching this, the first thing we'll do is we're just going to drive, and I want to tell you a little more about the bus, but the first thing we're going to do is take it to all the churches
Right.
that will let us
We've
in.
already invited you, yeah.
And, so then everyone gets a chance to walk through and see it. It's amazing. It was built specifically to target those women that we minister to in a way that will make them feel comfortable and special. And it's all leather furniture on the inside. It's all leather furniture. Of course, everything is brand new and shiny and clean. And it's lovely. And the bus has a bathroom. It has a client room where they can do the ultrasound and the pregnancy test. And then there's a little waiting room for anyone that she brings with her.
Wow. All this one bus.
It's really on one little bus.
Yeah.
And, we looked at Abby Johnson, who
Oh, yes.
she's the woman who left Planned Parenthood.
Right.
She says we would be amazed at the number of college girls who break in their new credit card with an abortion.
Oh my.
Yes.
Wow.
They're away at school.
Uh-huh.
First time they may be away from home. There are behaviors happening at school that mom and dad aren't watching over.
Uh-huh.
And they find out they're pregnant. They're away at school. They don't want to leave school. They don't want to give that up.
Right.
So what's the easy answer? Just to terminate that pregnancy. And they have that new little credit card that, because everyone gets a credit card application in the mail when they graduate.
Yeah.
So, and she said, you would not believe the number of girls that's the first charge on their card.
Good grief. My goodness.
So, we want to be at college campuses. We want to be, where can we strategically be in those locations?
Okay. Yeah, because it's not just for City Pasadena.
No.
You're going everywhere.
No, we're going
anywhere.
everywhere. In fact, when you get looking at the map.
Wait, does this make you the only one of the pregnancy centers in the city or the Houston area?
No, there are a couple.
Okay.
There's
Well, the more the merrier. I was just curious.
there's two other buses in
Okay.
the area.
Okay.
And I think one is not on the road right now. And the other one is. They're
Okay.
out 3 or 4 days a week. But so we'll be tootling around too.
Right. Okay.
But when you
Anyway, go ahead.
look at
Yeah.
the map and you go north, Kingwood and Itascasita, New Caney, all up in that area, and then that includes Crosby too. And there are no pregnancy centers, nothing.
Oh.
Everyone has to. In fact, I
I
heard
thought there was
recently.
at least one in every kind
Yes,
of
didn't you
direction,
though?
northeast, northwest, but there's not.
But
in the
Northeast, there is nothing.
Wow.
And so we really do want to be able to get up and minister to those
Yeah.
people. And I think a lot of people think, well, Kingwood, they don't need a pregnancy center. They can go to the doctor. But that's not necessarily true. There are still people in need.
Yes.
And there are still people, think about what we do, that need Jesus.
Yes.
They need the truth, and they need Jesus.
Yeah.
And, that can be anywhere in the
exactly.
world. So,
Yeah.
yes, go straight up and down from between Pasadena and pretty much
Wow.
Kingwood. And there's a huge empty spot there that
Wow.
I think we can help fill.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, I mean, she's talking about that area of the greater Houston area represents hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And just imagine the number of situations that could use this. And so as the Lord opens that door, wow, that is great.
So it's so exciting,
Wow.
exciting.
Wow.
I can't wait for y'all to see it.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to having you. I know we're not that far, but if you want to, we've got it wide open for you on our parking lot.
Yep.
And how will you promote in that area? Well, how would people know that you're there?
On our website will be one of the ways. We'll actually come up with a schedule, and then when you go onto the website, you can see right there on the homepage will be where we are at.
Okay.
When it first gets here, we're just going to be driving around.
Okay.
We're just going to be tootling around, checking out parking areas,
Getting the lay of the land.
getting the lay of the land, and I've become friends with the director in Beaumont they have a bus, and they actually had girls before they were even doing pregnancy tests. They had somebody that saw the bus going down the street, and it says free pregnancy tests, free ultrasounds.
Okay.
And she said she was actually on her way to the abortion clinic, and she said, I wonder if there's another way. I wonder if there's a better way. So she kind of chased the bus down so she could get the whole phone number, and she called, and she said, is there a better way? And of course, the answer to that. Absolutely. Can you be here tomorrow? And so
Wow.
So just driving around,
Caught the attention.
running over to Kroger because we need, a roll of paper towels, and people see the bus.
With that on their mind.
And
yeah.
they call.
Wow.
And actually it's not even on their mind, but they see it and they think,
Okay.
wait, maybe there is something else.
Okay. Gotcha.
Let me check this out.
There you go. Wow. Would you be able to give me a picture of it? That
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well,
No,
when
it's
you
still a
do-
secret.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Okay. So
Soon
you
as I-
didn't hear any of this. Okay.
As soon as I have a picture of it, you'll have a picture of
good.
it.
Well, we want to help it any way we can to get the word out. I'm excited for you. So just as we draw this to close, what are your most pressing needs right now?
And quite frankly, the most pressing need is financial. We are working diligently on funding the monthly budget for the bus.
Okay.
We got to put gas in that baby.
Oh, wow. And
The-
especially now.
the other day when gas was up right there close to $5 a gallon, I was in updating my budget. I was like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? But God's got it, and He's going to take care of it.
First time. Yeah.
And so we have the bus is paid for in cash, and so the bus is all paid for, but we are still doing that monthly funding for the bus, and so it's kind of a new pool of donors.
Okay.
And so it's people who are just getting the message. They want to see us go mobile.
Mm-hmm.
They love the idea of us being able to be where the need is.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to support that.
Right.
We are, I think, so I'll do a shameless plug. KSBJ is doing the world's largest baby shower right now.
Oh, yes.
And
that's right. And this is a drop-off.
Yeah, and this is a drop-off point.
Mm-hmm.
And so People are being so generous.
Yeah.
They're being so generous.
Right, because that was the lady who was just ahead of
Yes.
me coming in here before setting up. Was
Exactly.
one of those, right?
And she had a case of formula, a case of wipes, and a case of diapers.
Wow.
And it was just like,
That's
thank
simple.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Because all of our clients, of course, are getting diapers. They're earning diapers. They're earning wipes. But we also, there's a need in the community here in Pasadena. There are a lot of people who they're trying, they're working and they're trying, but they just don't have enough to make it through the month. And a pack of diapers and a package of wipes will take them a long ways. So we give diapers out to
Yes.
the community.
Yes.
We have
you do.
We
Yeah.
have formula. Oh my goodness. We have more formula. Probably that's an exaggeration. But we have more formula than the grocery store has. I can't promise that we have anybody's specific formula, but
Right.
we have formula.
Right.
You know, people are so generous. And
Wow.
and so the stuff, we really are in pretty good shape right now. And of course we're buying this building, and so
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
and so the need really is financial.
Yeah.
And
Well, so
because
y'all are just
that
sitting
just
around
spreads.
doing nothing.
Yeah,
I can tell. Yeah.
exactly.
I love it. Well, it's exciting to hear all this and to see that, again, you're meeting needs, not just material. There's emotional, there's psychological needs being met, and of course, of the greatest concern. And we say that not to lower priority of any of these other concerns and needs in their lives that I just mentioned, but it's just that the spiritual need is the root. It's the center of why all these other things are in chaos.
Yes.
And so to get that alignment of a relationship with Christ through Him, that peace and that hope becomes real, and it's only only that God can give. We will be putting in the description phone number of the Community Pregnancy Center here at the base of the picture here, but also we'll have more information in the description of this podcast. Okay, so you'll have more that you can, if not for you, but that you can disseminate to others who could use this information and be able to have Community Pregnancy Center help them as well. So just to close this out, do you have, kind of put you on the spot, and if we need to take a pause for a second and start back up, that's all right. Is there a single story of someone that stands out to you that you could tell?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't even have to pause.
I won't pause then.
It was one of my personal clients. I met with her because as the executive director, I don't get to meet with clients very often.
Right.
This was someone that I met with. And she came in, she actually had her abortion scheduled for Monday. And which means it was Thursday afternoon because we do testing Monday through Thursday. So it was Thursday afternoon. I was actually holding my purse ready to go home when she came through the door. And she said, I have my abortion scheduled for Monday. What are you going to do about it?
Oh, just like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll take a challenge.
Yeah.
So I put my purse down and we sat down and we talked. I actually never even did a pregnancy test on her.
Oh.
And we just sat and talked for hours.
Oh, wow.
Hours. Because this young lady, my goodness, what a story she had. So she was having an abortion because when she told work she was pregnant, she would be fired. When she told her boyfriend that she was pregnant, he would throw her out. And they have a dog, and he would keep her dog. She wouldn't. So she would lose custody of her dog. When she didn't have a job, she wouldn't be able to make her car payment. And so her car was going to be repossessed. And she had been to numerous places throughout the day. And she had been to numerous places. Pregnancy centers, she was at Catholic Charities, she was at just about every food pantry help center she could get a hold of. And she said, I'm having an abortion. And they said, no, don't do that. You have to have this baby. And they made all kinds of promises to her about how they would help her if she chose to carry this baby. And I was her last stop of the day. And I said, you know what? I can't make any promises to you. We don't have money, so I can't pay your rent. But we are here. I will walk this path with you. And she, well, yeah, but what does that mean? Because I know I'm going to be evicted. And, well, we can help you, we can help with housing. We can look for, you and I will sit down and we will do our best to find housing for you. Well, what about my dog? And so we went through every one of those things. And we just kept going through. And I will promise, and we will come through with diapers for any girl who decides to carry her baby. Back in the days when it was forever. We would keep you in diapers. And then I learned that babies are wearing diapers a really long time. And so I kind of had to cut that down. Because we were going broke buying diapers for 4 years.
Yes.
But I will keep your baby in diapers. We will keep your baby in clothes. I have clothes, and they can be nice clothes. You don't have to buy any clothes. I can't give you money. I can't give you an apartment, but and so and we kept going in this circle. I want to be there I will walk this path with you. And quite frankly, I said to her, and this is the truth, if you choose to terminate this pregnancy, we will be there to walk with you through that recovery. We're not going to the abortion. Please don't think that.
Right.
But we are there for abortion recovery, and it is biblically based.
Yes.
And we will walk that path with you. So we went around and around, and I finally did say to her, okay, look, we've been going around and around for a long time, and we're just covering the same, it's a circle. And so I think I need to go ahead and, just cut this conversation off. And so she's going to leave. And one of the reasons I knew we needed to cut it off, and we'd been very long, is the phone was ringing. And I knew it was my husband saying, we have dinner plans. Where are you?
Yeah.
So I'm walking her to the door, and I said, I just want you to know I will pray for you. Oh, my gosh. She was very angry at God. And so then we started all over.
Oh, my. Okay.
About what a horrible person I would to even, and no, I'm not a horrible. And so then we walked that whole path. So.
And dinner came and went.
Dinner came and went, exactly.
Sorry,
morning came. No, it really wasn't,
right.
But it felt like
Almost,
it.
Yeah.
So I finally did get her on her way. And I remember all the way home just crying and calling out to God. Because I knew that baby was lost. And there was nothing I could do. And that baby was gone. And, would be Monday morning. And so I said to God, I did everything I could do, and I think I spoke your words and your truth. Now it is up to you, make a miracle happen. 8 months go by.
Oh, wow.
And I'm standing in the office, and somebody comes through the door, and it was just the right time of day where the sun was shining, and you can't see people.
Yeah.
So all you can see is this black figure, and so I see this black figure, and it's coming towards me, and I can see the black figure is pregnant, and then she finally gets to the point where her face starts to come in, and she said, "Do you know who I am?" And I did. She had carried that baby, and she had chosen to give that baby life.
Wow.
Now, sad part of that story is she said, everything I predicted to you came true. My boyfriend left me.
Oh, wow.
No house, no job. And she said, and I went to all those people who promised to help me, and they had nothing for me.
Wow.
And I said, I am so sorry. And I hugged her. I didn't offer to pray for her. I prayed silently for her.
Yeah, of course.
But I just hugged her and I said, okay, let's sit down and talk about what can we do next. And so we did the car seat and the diapers and the clothes. And we couldn't give her money and we couldn't make her life perfect. Mm-hmm. But we could love her.
Yeah.
And God performed a miracle that weekend.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's why I do this.
Yeah.
So those girls know they have options and there is a truth out there. And God does miracles.
Yeah, he does.
It was a long story.
Yeah.
But if you need to know, is God alive and well and ruling on the throne? That's the story that proves it.
Yeah.
So sorry, you probably didn't need that story, but that's always the one that comes to mind because I just wept.
Wow.
And God held me, and He took care of it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Can you top that?
No, we're done. That's beautiful. Wow. Well, we will, of course, this will be going out this week on our podcast and on YouTube, and it'll be available in video and audio as well, audio only. And you can find us on Podbean or any of the other popular and well-used podcast apps to hear this entire thing and also to share it. So let me remind you of that with Truth Unbound in general and specifically with this today. That you can click on like. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can click on like, hit all notifications, and that continues to expand the family of Truth Unbound and hear this podcast, hear others, also to follow us on podcast apps, and then also to share this with everyone you can. I say that every week, I know, but to share this one in particular is just to get the word out. It doesn't matter if it's here or many of you are on the other side of the world. I saw a report get to see the analytics of our podcast. There was somebody in United States Micronesia Islands or something like that, and Nigeria, Spain, Europe, every continent, Australia. And so, but the stories and the hope of this, you could share with others. And that's why we want to see it happen. And of course, to hear that Jesus Christ is the good news himself, that he died for your sin, rose again from the dead, so that simply in believing in him, he did all the work for you, but for it to have any effect on your life at all, you need to repent of your sin and put your faith in Christ. The scriptures say whoever calls upon the name of the Lord will be saved. And it takes that moment of saying, Lord, I am a sinner. You're the only solution. You died for me. You rose again for me. I believe in you, and I believe in what you did for me. Here's my life, I'm yours. And that's when he forgives you of your sin and gives you eternal life. And we want to be of help to you to help you in those next steps. So make sure to email us at info@truthunbound.org. And again, we'll put the rest of the information in the description of this podcast. Bobbie, thank you so much.
Thank you for coming over.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me do this.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
Yeah, well, we'll be getting the word out. So let's have a quick word of prayer.
Please.
Father, I thank you for Bobbie, and I thank you for how our lives crossed, our ministries crossed paths. And Father, for the labor that they do here, it is a joy, it's a privilege, it's a ministry that you've given them. And we thank you for it, and we pray for each and every life, both mom and baby, and those dads too, Father, that step into here, maybe even today, after this, tomorrow, the rest of the time, that you, Terry, you're coming and this place is running and open, Father, that each life will be touched by your love, your grace through these folks. There are those that work behind the scenes in the operations of things, and there are donors and others, and they I just thank you for each and every piece that you put together so that this ministry can be a life-saving ministry, both in meaning a life that is saved now, as well as eternal life given to those who open their hearts to you to be saved. And so, Father, just bless them, provide for them, strengthen them, protect them in these dangerous days. And we love you. We thank you for all that you do for us and for your grace, your love, and your mercy in Christ and the gospel. We ask this all in your name. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much,
Amen.
Bobbie.
Thank you.
All right. And that concludes it for today. We'll see you again next time. And as I say at the end of every podcast, remember to follow Jesus, because when you follow Jesus, you always follow the truth. Till next time.
Amen.